It's not the same now because I was
No, I know.
Sesame. What are you doing here? Oh man.
Oh,
Hello everybody, and welcome to Cam and M Play D&D. We're finally here, finally ready to play the next leg of the continuing adventures of Durabell Boulderbane and her stalwart companion Quinn Hightopple. I don't know if stalwart is a good word to describe him, but
indestructible
I'm
Quinn
going
Hightopple.
I'm going with it. But yeah, so our adventures as we make our way through the Dragon of Icespire Peak kind of extended storyline. So this is a we've had a bit of a break, but this is generally our weekly D&D stream where we play through these as a one-on-one campaign, kind of exercise to help the pair of us get better at DMing the game and playing the game respectively. And it's kind of rapidly evolved to be a very unique and interesting experience. But as this is a technically a new beginning, we'll start afresh. So my name is Cam, and I've been playing D&D for just over 2 years now, and kind of rapidly trying to gain experience and get better at this game that I've fallen in love with very very quickly. And I am joined as always by my very lovely and talented wife Emily. Go ahead and talk about yourself awkwardly for a minute.
My name is Emily, and as stated, I am married to him. I've been playing D&D for roughly about as long as Cam, whereas he's been playing mostly on the DM side, and I've mostly been on the player side. Uh, and I do art in my spare time.
Your art is very good. Um,
Thank you.
I try and do something very quickly, so bear with me 1 second. Okay.
Okay.
Uh, can you just? We are in a bit of crackly on the audio, and I wasn't sure if it was on my end or not.
Oh, did you want me to speak in case so you
Yeah,
can hear
no,
out
you're
for
a
the
bit you're
crackling?
a bit crackly for some reason.
Hello?
Hello. Um,
I don't know.
we'll just have to keep an eye on it. Okay. Yeah. So I've just completely lost my chain of thought because I got distracted by the audio. Never mind. Now there's a fly in here. The
All gone
fates are
wrong.
conspiring to make this the most chaotic stream possible, and I don't even know how when there's only two of us. But never mind. We were determined to have a nice chill stream, and it's immediately gone wrong. I was complaining that I was cold. I'm now boiling. Um, it's all gone incredibly wrong. But with that being said, we do hope that you will join us every week as we go through this adventure. Um, if you're interested in going back and watching the previous ones that we've done, so we did Dragon of Icespire Peak and Stormlord's Wrath, you can go and find that on my YouTube channel, which is croverload. The link is down in the thing, and you can go anywhere else. Or if you're already on YouTube, then well, you found it, haven't you? Well done.
And
Um,
you could go all the way back to the very
you can go
beginning
all the way back to
and
the all the way back to the
incredibly awkward.
session zero, where it was incredibly awkward. Neither of us really knew what we were doing, and it was in like an old flat. The setup was rubbish, and
Because we were in the same room.
you can watch the gradual evolution of this stream from two idiots sharing a room, sharing a rig, and not really knowing what anything does. Having a camera that turns off every half an hour. Um, all the way up to this glorious standard that I've set today.
Where
Like,
you're in incredible definition with these epic, colorful lights, and I am just on the couch in the living room.
have a rave. You know what? We're gonna. Oh, it's really slow. God damn it!
Just
Stop.
press the colors. Just
Stay
press all the
blue.
colors on their
Stay blue.
own.
It's fine. I was trying to be fancy and it ruined my moment. Story of my life. But no, I'm very happy with where we've ended up. I just wish that this had been a bit smoother, but I should have known that this first one was going to be a bit clunky.
That's how it is.
Yeah, but please keep an eye on it for us. Let us know if anything. I am going to experiment today. Now that I've got two monitors, I'm going to have the chat open so that I can see it. But it's on the other screen, so I'm probably not going to be paying a whole lot of attention to it. So if there is anything going wrong, I'm kind of reliant on if there are any. Okay, it looks like Eddie's around, so I'll be reliant on moderators to let me know if anything's going wrong, and
To
so I
kick
can
out any
fix it.
bots.
Dual monitor. Oh, dude, seriously, it is the best. Anyway, without further ado, let's begin. Have you got your character sheet open?
I do.
Have you got your dice?
I do.
Are you ready to play D&D?
I do.
You do ready to play D&D?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay. Focus. I'm really nervous. I don't know why. Like, I was fine until I pressed the start streaming button.
Because you're not playing Devil May Cry and getting hype. You're
Mm.
you're running D&D.
I know. Okay. So, the half-finished palisade of Leilon will soon make a complete semicircle on the northeast side of the town, defended by an earthen rampart. To the southwest, new settlers attempt to build docks for barges made to cross the marsh and meet merchant ships in the sea. Outside of town, the settlers' campground becomes ever smaller as new buildings made of wood or stone with thatched roofs are erected in Leilon's muddy streets. At the centre of it all, the new house of Thalavar, a cylindrical wizard tower, rises like a beacon, 4 times the height of every other building. Some lots still lie in ruins, but the settlers work quickly, clearing and reconstructing. And we start our new adventure with Durabell's house that she was given not too long after she arrived here. She was bequeathed one of the first houses that was built in the town. But since then, demands have kind of changed, especially considering that Durabell herself has been given a special task, I suppose, after some issues with the local guard force. Do you want to explain what kind of Durabell's job is in Leilon at the moment?
She has been tasked with basically hiring adventurers to help with the defense and whatnot of the town in conjunction with the local militia.
Mm-hmm. And
Basically her deeds of heroism makes everyone think that she's in the perfect position to kind of vet and look for kind of bring these people in.
yeah. So you are the kind of de facto leader of this kind of militia, adventurer, mercenary group.
I've become a guild leader.
You've essentially become
basically.
an adventuring guild leader, yeah.
Yeah.
And the group you, whilst on our downtime, you named that group the Hearts of Stone, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
So you've not got a lot of people at the moment. Who do you know? Who do you know that's in the Hearts of Stone right now? I'm gonna ask you questions.
Oh shit! You're gonna ask me a question. I mean, besides herself and Quinn, there's oh my god, it really has been a while. Is it Tricky?
Ricky.
Tricky Ricky. That's what I'm gonna call him now. There's
He
Ricky.
would hate that.
I won't call him that then.
You can. Quinn tried to call him that once, and Ricky punched him through a window. So, well, he tried to punch him through a window.
He'd have to kind of get low and then punch up and out with force to get Quinn and out the window.
Yeah, you've got Ricky Ironshard, who is a kind of a very frustrated young man who kind of unceremoniously he was a private with the Leilon Guard, and after some disagreements with the sergeant, kind of very abruptly decided to leave and has joined you essentially,
Yeah.
and kind
And
of trying to.
he's essentially been sort of not put in charge, but he is basically the de facto um is it like lizard folk like interpreter.
Yeah, he's become friends with a tribe of lizard folk that have taken up residence just outside of Leilon as well. And funny you should mention that because one of the new arrivals to the Hearts of Stone that you only just became aware of recently is kind of partly as thanks to both Ricky and yourself. The tribe leader Kess
Hmm.
appointed their. Hang on, I've got to check pronouns. Um, I think Kess is a lady. Kess appointed her bodyguard, Slosh, to join the Hearts of Stone and help you out.
Oh my god, amazing
So
slosh.
he's like this
Big boy.
massive. Sorry, they. Slosh is non-binary. Um, Slosh is just like this massive hulking lizard folk render with like huge claws. Um, they've got like orange frills that go from like their forehead down the back of their head, and kind of like a
Hmm.
crazy mohawk type affair. And yeah, they're like covered in scars and they're proper gnarly looking, but they're really quiet. Like they don't really say anything, and they basically do everything that Kess says. And Kess has basically said, "Do what Durabell says." But in that time, Slosh and Ricky have become quite close. Like they train together and stuff.
Yeah, I figured I would the put I figured that it would be in the best interest to put them together because Ricky knows kind of at this point Ricky understands a lot of the different mannerisms of the lizard folk. So it would be something like Slosh might, basically he's like an interpreter, like an in-betweener
Yeah,
basically, like and Slosh I imagine understands and like knows Ricky's position, like, and probably I imagine in a way, probably if they had appreciation or if they show any way of appreciation, he would be showing it for
yeah,
Ricky. Just like,
definitely.
yeah.
So let's talk about Quinn for a second,
Oh boy,
because Quinn has been your your sidekick
my
since
right
the
hand man.
start. Why don't you talk about that? Like, talk about Durabell's relationship with Quinn.
Well, the relationship definitely started out a bit rocky because, well, I would say rocky. It was more just she saved his life in the very like back in the village where she lived, like and grew up. She basically saved his life and he has decided that like he's gonna stick with her like ever since.
Mhm.
I don't know if he has any intention of being like, okay, I've repaid the debt or whatever, but they've basically been inseparable ever since. And he was the first with the sort of stuff that happened back home. He was the first person to jump to her defense and left with her and sort of uh it's kind of a nice, I guess in a way he's sort of a good foil to Durabell because he's a lot more like he's a lot more willing to just straight up talk to people and he's he's ready to have a good laugh.
Yeah, it's kind of almost ironic with him being the sidekick, but he's more of the face
Yeah.
of your dynamic, which is a bit odd, but it works.
But but in the time that they've known each other, uh I wouldn't say Quinn's calmed down, but I would say that Durabell's been coming out of her shell a bit more.
Definitely, yeah, I would say so.
She's
Um,
she's definitely she definitely talks a lot more and is a little bit more uh I guess I don't want to say friendly, but like I guess she's a bit more approachable. I guess
yeah,
that's the word I'm looking for.
yeah, I can get behind that. Yeah, so that's Quinn, and then in the finale of the last adventure, you made a new companion, a new introduction to the newly formed Hearts of Stone, which was a drow called Sovendal,
Yes,
which
that's
was
right.
that was an interesting situation because, if I recall correctly, you found him dying in
Mm-hmm.
a room, um, kind of in within a complex that belonged to the cult of Talos. And
Yeah, he was
Sovendal,
dying from a curse.
yeah, Sovendal basically said to you, the leader of the cult, the leader of this group of the cult, did this to me. I don't care about the cult. I will happily walk away if you can help me. And you
And
did.
she cured him.
Yep. And you helped him get revenge. And in response, he was just like, well, I've got nowhere else to go. I might as well hang around with you for a bit. Um, Sovendal's an odd one. Like you've spent a bit of time with him now, and I can imagine during this period of downtime between adventures, I can't imagine that Sovendal and Durabell would have talked very much because they're both very kind of reserved. Um,
Yeah.
but like Sovendal, there, there would definitely be a bit of awkwardness because there's the other issue that I say issue. It's not really anyone else's issue, but people with prejudices and stuff. But Sovendal is a drow, and the drow kind of society that exists in Faerun, has got a pretty bad rep for being like slavers and
Yeah.
evil people that are that
Yeah,
worship a mad god spider queen of death and lies.
if I remember right, the last adventure ended when we were on the boat on the way back because Durabell was going to talk to them to see if he couldn't stay there, if if he could just pass through. Because I
Mm-hmm.
remember he was a bit like unsure, and Durabell was like, "No, no, I'll figure something out
Yeah.
one way or
So
another."
the people of Leilon are, basically the way that it's worked out now is that, Sovendal basically sticks around at your place. I think your place. We'll talk about your dwellings
Yeah,
in a moment, but he essentially only really goes out at night, and essentially tries his best to keep a low profile. Like people have seen him and people have freaked out, but when you've spoken to basically the council have agreed that on your word he's safe.
yeah,
Um, so as long as he behaves himself, then it's fine. But the one thing you have to
yeah.
bear in mind is that if he does do anything, it's kind of it will erode the goodwill that you have with the council.
Well, and I'm sure Durabell would have said something like, "If he does anything, I take responsibility and
Yeah,
I'll deal with him." Like
yeah,
she basically goes, "If he causes a problem, I will take care of it."
yeah. That's fine. But
And I'm
overall,
sure she told that to him as well.
yeah. Well, yeah, and he'd be like, yeah, that's completely understandable. And he's essentially kind of offered to be, um, like someone who'll go out and get information for you.
Hmm.
So if you need to find something out, kind of on the down low, you can tell Sovendal and he'll go and do it for you. Um,
Yeah,
as long as you pay him, obviously.
yeah.
Um, yeah. Um, and that's it. That's your crew at the moment. So there's the five of you. Five of you?
Hmm.
Yeah, five of you. And yeah, you've got like a nice little group going. And so essentially to help out with that, Griselda, the leader of the Leilon Council, asked if your house that you were given could be converted into some kind of storage slash kind of living quarters for the Hearts of Stone. So not just you,
Yeah,
but everyone that belongs to your group now uses that space.
yeah,
And it's also kind of been being used for storage and just kind of like general bits and bobs. It was being used as a general store for a while,
yeah.
but then a gentleman called Jack Torver turned up, and has since opened a general store in Leilon. So that responsibility has been moved to him. You haven't met Jack yet, but you've heard of him because since he's arrived, he's been appointed to the council. So he's now a
Oh.
member of the Leilon Council. However, Gallio and Has Yoram, so the sergeant, they've both left the council. So
Oh.
Gallio basically decided, I haven't got time for this. I need to focus
Well,
on
he's
like
too busy
yeah.
researching to yeah.
So he left the council in an official capacity to work on the tower, but he was like, if you must, then you can come and bother me if you need any magical assistance. But this is all beneath me, sort of thing.
Yeah, he's very much like, unless it's specifically in my interests, don't bother
Yeah,
me.
exactly. And Sergeant Yoram kind of left in a bit of a huff, essentially. Like, he doesn't like the fact that people give him shit all the time, even if he is a bit shit. And Griselda as well kind of felt that there needed to be a bit more separation
Yeah.
between the guards, especially as the town is growing and more people are coming. She just felt it made more sense to have it so the guard was kind of a like had devolved powers and not weren't as greatly involved with
One
the
is
everyday workings
direct,
of the
yeah.
council. Yeah. There was a conflict of interest that she felt would be better if he stepped down, and he did. So yeah, the council now is Griselda, Valdi, who kind of runs the dockyard,
Hmm.
um, Marigold Brightshine, who runs the Lathander Shrine, who is he's like a relatively cheerful and helpful halfling, yeah, like devout of Lathander. You haven't really spoken to Marigold that much, but
No.
he seems like an alright dude. And then finally, you've got Kess, who is the leader of the lizard folk tribe that you saved a few months ago now.
Yeah.
And she's been brought in as kind of to represent the interests of the lizard folk because obviously they've got a very different culture, very different way of doing things. So it makes
I
sense
imagine
for her
I
to be part of
imagine
proceedings.
I imagine as well, like they probably appreciate her being there as well because the lizard folk are sort of more not emotionally driven. I imagine she's a lot more like straightforward and cut straight through the emotions and gets right to the facts
Yes,
sort of thing. So I
Valdi.
imagine with yeah.
Valdi loves her, like because of how straightforward she is.
Hmm.
Because well, part of her finds it funny, and the other part of it is like this is good. She's got good because she's so down to earth. She's got good business sense because she looks at
Hmm.
everything so logically. Um,
Yeah.
and tension in the air, tensions between like the lizard folk and the original inhabitants of Leilon has kind of died down now. You get like moments of it, but
But I imagine because they've been sort of working together in
yeah,
this time as well in the fish yard, it's a lot of that sort of, and I imagine a lot of those people who work the docks probably are a little bit like Ricky in that like there's like a camaraderie, they sort of like understand each other
yeah.
sort of thing.
There's like you see instances of, so for example at the fishery during the day, the fishery is where all the fishers like sell their catches,
Yeah.
and you find that there's kind of a line down the middle, and then there's stalls on one side of all like the humans and like halflings and all of them, like all the original fishers basically selling their fish, and then on the other side you've got all the lizard folk trying to sell their fish, and kind of shit talking each other. Um,
Hmm.
but it's it's strange because it's kind of playful even on the lizard folk side of things. It's almost like they've
Yeah.
picked that up. Um,
Like sort of like maybe they don't feel it, but they understand like why the jokes work. and
Yeah,
how they work. So it's a bit like,
and
oh, if I
like,
say this, they'll
but
get a
that kind
kick
of
out of it.
that exchange has kind of begun to permeate into the rest of the town. So while you've yet to see any lizard folk in like guard attire because Yoram's an asshole and still doesn't trust them. Um,
Yeah.
you quite commonly see lizard folk getting involved in building. A
Hmm.
few of them work the palisade, like getting the palisade ready. Um, so yeah, they're more of a normal presence within the town, and
Yeah.
it's not awkward anymore. Like there are moments where they have like misunderstandings and disagreements, but most of the time they're just
But they're not ready to throw down with
yeah.
each other, which is the
You'll
perfect
see
thing.
like an old woman or something, but like they just get on with it. It's great.
They just do it. It's
Yeah,
what no,
no
they
no
don't
no
even
complaints.
complain.
Not like that bloody guard captain. That's all he does. He's paid to complain. But anyway, I think that's enough. Kind of, unless there's anything that you want to talk about that Durabell's been up to between this adventure and now.
I mean, aside from managing the guild, she's probably just been sort of helping out where she can. I mean, she's probably spent some time with her brother because he lives there now. Well, not I don't know if he lives in the
No,
in the building with
he
her.
has
He
his
might have
own.
his own
He
place.
has his own.
Yeah.
Well, he's still at the camp. He's kind of
Yeah.
make an insight check for me.
Okay. I think you're just doing it as an excuse to get me to roll a die at least
No, no, no,
once
no, no, no,
today.
no, no. This is
I would hope my insight would be super high on my brother, but I mean, I got 18 total.
I would say the only reason that I would say it's not super high on your brother is because you were separated for a long time.
Separate. That's
18, did you
fair.
say?
Yeah.
That's still pretty good.
Yeah.
So, Duradon's been kind of distant from you. Not
Hmm.
for any kind of negative reason. You get the feeling that he doesn't want to get in the way.
Yeah.
Um, he doesn't want to step on your toes, or kind of he wants to just kind of let you go and do your own thing. There's still that bit of awkwardness around the circumstances of you leaving Verbolder, and like while the pair of you have kind of sorted that out, he still feels a bit guilty about it. So that's kind of wrapped into it as well,
Yeah.
because he along with everybody else bought into your uncle's propaganda against you. Um,
Yeah.
and with an 18, I will say that he has grown more distant lately. Like you've not seen him in a while. Like
Mm.
you know he's in town, but you've not like he's not spoken to you. You've not really seen him for
Yeah.
a good couple of weeks.
Mm.
The last time that you really spent any decent amount of time together was back in the previous adventure when you had that small amount of downtime and the pair of you did work together. You did some like
Yeah.
masonry work around town as a pair and made some. You know when you were making some money just randomly.
Yeah, I remember.
Well, I think it was while you were waiting for the ship captains to turn up.
Yeah, because we had to wait like a week or something
Yeah.
like that for them to
So
sail
you
in.
did some work together. Then ever since then, he's kind of drifted away. I guess is the best way to describe it.
Yeah.
But anyway, so you're we'll start kind of like upstairs in your home because you kind of have some private quarters upstairs in the House of Stone.
Yeah, because I in the time the house, I mean, aside from the store, I imagine after the store thing was done, it was renovated to be like there's like an like a I guess a little bit of a communal area. There's like maybe some rooms for like like there's like a couple of rooms at the moment, like maybe like Ricky lives in one of them, just people that live on the ground floor. But you asked about the upstairs. So um Durabell and Quinn probably live upstairs. If Quinn is living there, then they would live in the upstairs. And yeah, she's kind of got her room. It would probably you'd probably find the door like right at the top of the stairs, because it would be like uh we need to get it'd be one of those things where it's like I need to be like immediately available. So I'm like right there.
Mhm.
Um but yeah, so there's like a space for her and Quinn to live, and he can do whatever he wants with his space. She's probably, I don't know if she's ever seen it, but I mean her room is pretty simple, but I imagine in the time she would have put some effort into like getting some, not like super nice, but like getting some like, maybe like some furs for when it gets cold, and like some nice blankets and bedding. And um I imagine with like the guild area, because I'm pretty sure we took some dragon. I was for sure we took some dragon teeth, but it was
Yes.
sort of like she would start decorating it with things. Like she would like decorate with the dragon teeth, and kind of um if Quinn would part from it, she would display the dragon slayer, but he won't, so she won't do that.
Not yet.
I
He's not
mean,
ready
part
to
of her
give it
would
up
like to
yet.
put well, no, and part of her would like to put it back where it came from, anyways.
Yeah, because you
Um,
originally discussed that back at the end of the first campaign.
yeah.
You were going to
We were
consider
gonna put
putting
it
it
back
back.
when we were done with it, but we've not been done with it
Yeah.
yet. um, I imagine there is um like a symbol to Moradin, but she wouldn't make it super prominent, because she wouldn't want to dissuade people of other religious walks from potentially joining if they wanted.
There's
But she would have like a little something,
yeah.
at least like kind of there.
I think you've been like really busy getting all this stuff sorted, and I imagine with Durabell being the way that she is, kind of laser focused on the things that she's wanted to get done. So
Hmm.
while people have been like keeping her informed of stuff that's going on, like um, funnily enough, apart from you, Griselda, and Duradon, there aren't many dwarves in Leilon. So
Yeah,
Griselda comes and visits quite often because she's like,
yeah,
oh my god, another dwarf. Everyone in town thinks that I'm a battle axe. When I'm not, everyone's idiots. Um,
yeah,
so she comes over to kind of have a quiet drink with you every now and again, respectfully, like saying you don't have to if you don't want to, but I am. Um,
I imagine Durabell has probably had drinks with her, though.
yeah.
Like, I wouldn't say
Well, I think you had a
they've
drink
gotten
together.
trashed, but
You had a drink
yeah,
together a while before. But anyway,
yeah,
she's been kind of keeping you up to speed with things that have been going on. So while you know
yeah.
what's going on, you haven't necessarily experienced. So you would know that a shrine to Timora has popped up.
Hmm.
Um, a, a a very peculiar elven gentleman called Puck arrived and has established a shrine to Timora. Um,
Okay.
so yeah, so you've got a shrine to Timora, you've got a shrine to Lathander, and then if you want, you can kind of have a little miniature shrine to Moradin as well.
Yeah.
Which
It
and
would be like it'd be in a sort of quiet spot too,
yeah,
like it's visible, but like in such a way that like when you go, like you can kind of get away from like where everyone else might be sitting, and you can kind of like
yeah,
worship at it. Yeah. Little prayer spot. Remind me randomly. Tamora is Tamora the Fates lady?
she's like the goddess of luck.
Okay.
She was the deity that you think saved your ass from the Woodland Manse. Like
Yeah, which is
you
why I
think
want to make a point
yeah,
to.
you think that she was the reason that Falcon showed up when he did.
Yeah,
Because you prayed to her and then he appeared out of nowhere basically to save your ass. Um,
yeah. I think that's something. Sorry, I just thought that's probably something she would have done as well. As I imagine she would have sent. She probably would have sent some letters to like some people just to
mhm.
be like, things are going well. I'm not dead. I did this, but she wouldn't type it.
I
Yeah,
mean, she has sending, so she could be casting the sending spell.
but she's only got 25 words then.
True. downtime, you could string together all of your because you've got like 5th level spell slots now, so you could just be stringing
Yeah.
together all of those into 5th. Or do you have
But
6th now? I can't remember.
she I don't have to check. No, she seems like the kind of person who wouldn't use sending unless it was an emergency.
Yeah, that makes sense actually. Yeah,
So yeah, she
not
would
like
have. She
Quinn.
would have sent.
If Quinn had the power to cast sending,
Well, Quinn's got one of the sending stones, so I imagine she's
she
like,
probably
"Oh
gets
man, if I could
messages
use
from
this all the
him
time."
like once a day. She'd get a message from him, just like random shit. In fact, Griselda would have told you that an inn has opened. So so she would have been really excited because an inn has finally opened. Like this is actually a town now.
Yeah, the people can come and stay.
Yeah, but before that, you would have got a message from Quinn through the sending stone, being like, "Holy shit, there's an inn. Thank God, not had a drink since the wayside. Let's go get pissed."
Sounds about right.
Yeah. Um. So yeah, that's and funnily enough, since that pub opened, you've not really seen much of Quinn either.
No surprise.
Um. So yeah. So there's that. So lots of stuff has been going on. Like Puck's turned up, Jack has turned up, um, shufflings among the council, and you're kind of sat upstairs in your new very cozy space that you've crafted for yourself, and like you said, the downstairs is kind of more of a communal area for the rest of the Hearts of Stone. Um,
Yeah, and like if people want to like, I imagine it's one of those things where like people can come in and like I imagine like if Ricky or Slosh or whoever's down there, they can like speak with them in sort of in the building, like they could close the door.
yeah.
It's like an area that you can just sit and chat,
hmm
sort of thing. Yeah.
Um, while you're doing whatever you're doing, maybe just like having a little pray to yourself, just spending some time on your own. You do begin to hear the sounds of commotion downstairs in the communal area,
Oh dear.
and
I,
it sounds like Ricky, and like I mean Ricky's pretty loud.
yeah. Uh, I will of course listen for a second just to see. I'll listen for a second to see if it's him being excited or if it's kind of escalating.
Make a perception check.
It was more just to see how immediately I would go downstairs. Oh, jeez. Perception, you said.
Yeah,
11.
11. It sounds heated, whatever it is.
Oh dear. Okay, I will get up. Durabell's always got her stuff on her because she's, as much as she's made herself home here, she's kind of always ready to go, like
hmm
almost always ready to go at a
I think
moment's
yeah, I
notice, or at
think
least to a degree.
as much
Yeah.
as I would like to see Durabell in civvies, I can't imagine it. Like I can't imagine Durabell out of her armor.
No, because she would always be in it, especially uh I guess she would it would be very shocking for there to be a time where she doesn't feel the need to wear it, especially with the way things have been. So I think nah, she's fully geared. Like
Mm-hmm.
if she needs to go at a moment's notice, she's pretty much ready to do it.
Okay.
So she'll make her way downstairs to see what the hell's going on, or at
So
least open like come out to hear what's happening.
so you start kind of like making your way down, and the way that I imagine it in this communal area, there's like a counter kind of towards the back, and the first thing you see when you open the door by the door leading out, you see Slosh kind of just leant back against the wall, arms folded, kind of watching what's going on.
Yeah,
Doesn't really seem to have an expression on their face, just watching carefully.
yeah.
Um, and you hear Ricky kind of in this very kind of argumentative, uh, like instigating tone, basically
Oh
saying
dear.
basically saying stuff along the lines of, "What are you actually doing here? Like,
Oh no. Okay, I have some idea of who it is.
Mm.
But I will step out to see what's going on.
Who do you think it is?
Is it Ricky's dad?
No,
Oh dear.
no, it's not. It's not. Aris.
It's not Mr. Iron Shard
Yeah,
himself.
Mister Sergeant Aris Ironshard. No.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay, then who is this?
you. Ricky's received some letters. You know that Ricky's received some letters, but
Mm-hmm.
he hasn't really told you much about their contents.
Yeah, right.
He's just told you that he's not answering them.
Right. Oh dear.
Yeah. So there's that.
So I imagine Durabell's a bit like, okay, so this is whatever was happening has come to a head.
So if you come downstairs,
Yeah.
you actually see that Ricky is pointing over the counter, and like sat in the corner of the room, kind of legs crossed, arms over the back of his head. Sovendal is just sat there, and Ricky's pointing at him, and basically getting leery at Sovendal.
I'm just gonna step in. What is Ricky saying to him?
He's basically saying what I said there. Like, what are you doing here? Like, um, I don't trust you. Like, you were with the cult. That's like Durabell told me that you were with the cult, and now you're here. Like, what's your game? Essentially, in so many words, it's kind of what you were worried about, or what Sovendal warned you about, which is he's a drow. People are gonna get like this with him.
Right. Okay. So I'm gonna step in. Maybe a little bit
Yeah, because I think
heavy steps to make a point.
yeah, Ricky's like saying all of this stuff, and like Sovendal is responding. He's basically saying stuff like, you know, I'm here to do as our leader tells us, the exact same as you, and Ricky's just like, it's bullshit. I don't believe that for 1 second. You know, I was trained, you know, in my training in the army, I was told not to trust people like you. You're slavers and murderers and horrible people. And Sovendal just like shakes his head and goes, Is that really what's going on here? Or are you just jealous that somebody more capable has arrived? And that Ricky is about to just like, you can I mean, you know what he's like, he's gritting his teeth, and he's just like,
Yeah, and Durabell does that thing where she walks into the room, but she purposely walks with like,
yeah,
I imagine it's a thing that she will do. Like she makes it like especially heavy steps to make a point that like to be like, I am here now.
yeah.
So she
Like, you
like
get the
steps in
impression
and
that like Sovendal isn't reacting. He's just
yeah.
like, this is like playful poking. Like, he can tell that Ricky is insecure.
And Ricky is
his response
falling
to
into
this
it.
is he's just like sharply jabbing where he's insecure, and that's
Yeah.
just making Ricky even angrier. So yeah, you start like making heavy steps down the stairs, and Slosh kind of like looks up at you and gives you a nod of like, yes,
Yeah.
here you are.
Yeah. And Durabell just goes,
Ricky is like in. He's like got the blinkers. He's seeing red right now, so he's not even paying attention to that. His voice is just getting louder and louder, as he's basically like shouting. You don't know anything about me, or who I am. You don't know anything about us, what we fought for. You just come in here and expect us to take your word for it when you were working with the cult that tried to destroy this town.
I'm just gonna be like, enough.
Make an
Ricky.
intimidation check.
Oh dear. She's a bit shit at these. Yeah, she is. That was a natural 1.
Natural 1. He doesn't hear you. He just keeps going.
Okay, give me a second. I just want to check something in my spells really quick.
It's reaching a point where Ricky is like, "Do you want to take this outside? You telling me that you're better than me? Is that what this is? You think that you're better than me? We can take this outside and we can find out right now."
my god. I really wish I had silence, but I don't have silence. I wish I had thaumaturgy, but I don't have that either. Um, uh, I know what I'm gonna do. If he isn't paying attention to Durabell, Durabell is gonna take her axe and she's gonna smash it in the table between the two of them.
Oh my god. Okay, we'll just say for the sake of that, then you bury your axe into the counter with a strength of 19. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
I'm not gonna argue that. You just boosh straight down. Sovendal just kind of like raises an eyebrow, and Ricky just like stops dead, and then like whirls around and looks at you, and you can kind of see like his eyes are red, and kind of this young boy with his like tight black curly hair, and
Yeah.
these like eyes that are filled with like frustration and determination, and he's just kind of like staring at you. You can see like the light tremble in his shoulders. What are you gonna do?
I am going to I'm gonna do like a sigh, but like a frustrated sigh. And I'm going to say uh I'm just gonna go, let's go for a walk, Ricky. But she's doing it in such a way where she's like, we're going for a walk.
Okay, he's not gonna argue with that. He just kind of there's a moment where he kind of looks from you back to Sovendal, and then back
Hmm.
to you, and then he's like, you can tell that he wants to be like, but, and like he's trying to articulate his point to you, but it's getting mangled and.
Yeah. But she is just waiting for him to come out from behind the counter so they can go
Oh no,
outside.
no, Ricky's on the side of the counter with you.
Oh right, okay. So I'm gonna lead him outside then.
Okay,
After
he
taking my axe out of the
yeah,
broken table.
Slosh will open the door for you, um, and they
I'll
they
nod to
they let
him.
you they let you out,
Mhm.
and as you two are leaving, like Ricky like looks at Slosh and goes, "Keep an eye on him," and then the door closes.
I'll wait until we walk away a little bit, like, and then I'm gonna look at him and see what he looks like after we've
Um,
taken some silent steps.
make an insight check. It's gonna be a fairly low DC, but
Uh, bumped my tablet really quick.
no.
An insight.
Yeah,
Uh, I rolled another 11.
11. 11's fine. He he's on the verge of tears, basically. Like he's so like you've seen this before. Like this is when he was arguing
Yeah,
with Yoram. Like just this
yeah,
pent up frustration. Um, yeah, and so he's just like he's wound himself up to the point of to this point, basically.
yeah. I want to walk with him to I want to find a quiet spot, basically, that we can sit down,
Okay.
I guess. Um,
So there aren't many at the moment. You haven't got any kind of scenic
there's no
spots
public
just yet.
scenic
Yeah, you
spots
haven't you
yet.
haven't really got around to the public park area just yet. Um, but it's easy enough. You can like go to a completed area of the palisade, and
Yeah.
maybe there's like a log that hasn't been used yet, and the pair of you just kind of park down on that, like a few of the builders do sometimes when they need a break.
Well, I'll let him park on it. I'm gonna stay standing,
Okay.
and I'm just gonna go.
He's not making eye contact with you. He just sits down and he's staring at the ground.
That's fine. Durabell just goes, Ricky, what's wrong?
And you can see that he's like trying to figure out what he wants to say, and he just looks up. He kind of like quickly throws his head up at you and blurts out, A drow, really?
What about it?
You you know what they do?
I do. At least if the stories are to be true, um,
But
then yes.
it's not about whether they're true or not. Like I know people. Like I trained under people in the in the Neverwinter soldiery, and there were people that talk about the horrible shit that they do.
I'm sure. Is it hard? Is it too far fetched for me to say that those men probably also talked about the lizard folk?
Well, I mean, yeah, I, I mean they did, but it's not the same.
Why not?
Well, I've talked to them. They're just doing their thing, and like when all these stories about the stuff that they've done, it's when people attack them. People get in the way of their shit. The drow are invaders. They come in and they take people and murder people and do all this cruel stuff for no reason than what some god thing. It's not the same. It's not the same, Durabell.
You know, when I think about the drow and their zealousness for whichever deity it is they worship, it makes me think of those who worship Talos, the people I've encountered on my quests, and uh, some of them have been exactly as you might think. They go into places with innocents, they kidnap them, they maim them, they murder them in the name of this deity. But I've also come to learn that they're not all like that either. And if there's a chance that they can escape from that, if given the opportunity, then why not let them have the opportunity to be different?
Well, what what makes you think that he's different? Him in there.
Well, if I didn't think he was any different, I wouldn't have brought him back for a start. Um, I can tell you that I don't completely trust him. But trust is something that's earned with time. And I'm just giving him the opportunity to either earn it or to destroy it. And then if he so much as steps out of line, then it's me he's going to have to deal with. I know the circumstances of it are a bit strange, but
Well, he just showed up with you when you came back from the Thundercliffs. What was that all about?
I saved him.
From what?
I saved him from the. He was afflicted with a curse from the Talos group that had hired. Just out of character, real quick. They were hired, weren't they? Like they were hired mercenaries, wasn't
No,
it?
not quite. Sovendal and his
Goons.
subordinates
Yeah.
were members of the cult of Talos.
Mm-hmm.
He was strictly loyal to a member of the cult that you've not met yet called Feralai Stormsworn, who he hasn't mentioned it very much. Like he's kept very stum about about a lot of
Yeah.
things regarding the cult ever since you left. But you know that he was quite loyal to her. And the woman that was in charge of that like cell of the cult,
The crazy people.
yeah,
The crazy lady.
she basically Sovendal was sent there to keep her in check because she was going nuts basically, and
Yeah.
it was putting their whole operation in jeopardy. So Sovendal was there to keep an eye on her and essentially rein her in. She
But
didn't
then
like
she
that.
tried to kill him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she didn't like that. So Sovendal believes that she essentially prayed for Talos to kill him, and that's
Yeah.
where the curse came from. Um,
So
so
in a
as
way, he was sort of betrayed by his own god.
yeah, essentially his thoughts on it are Talos turned his back on me for the sake of this woman who
Heretic.
didn't have his best interests in
Yeah.
mind. So
Yeah.
I'm going to turn my back on him, and
Yeah.
there is you sensed it ever since he kind of ever since he gave you the dagger of venom, and he said, "I want you
Yeah.
to use this on her." There is a vindictiveness in his tone whenever he talks about the cult. It's like you get the impression that he wants Talos. He basically wants Talos to regret what he's done, like to regret the
Yeah.
mistake that he's made, and he's gonna feel it for the rest of eternity.
Yeah.
Um.
Um.
So yeah, like you're. Well, I won't tell you what you think, but it does very much seem like your relationship with Sovendal is just a mutually beneficial one. Like, if he stays
Yeah.
with you, then he's more likely to encounter the cult of Talos, which means he's more likely to be able to get revenge on them.
Yeah. Um. And Durabell will say, "I don't completely trust him because of where he's come from. You're right, but there is some value in keeping him around as well, at least for the time being. He has understandings of the cult that we don't have, and if he is willing to use that against them, then we need that at every opportunity."
Make a persuasion check with advantage.
Oh my god! Thank God I got that advantage. Persuasion.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't have any charisma. 13.
13. Uh, Ricky looks like he wants to say something. Like, he looks like he wants to refute your claims and be like, "But what about this? What about that?" But he kind of gets tongue tied again, and then kind of sits back, takes a moment to kind of process what you've said, and he kind of thinks about it, and he goes, "You're right.
Ricky, I completely understand. I really do completely understand where you're coming from.
no,
But
no. What you said about the lizard folk is right. Like, what I was taught about them and what I was taught about the drow, it wasn't different. It was the same. They were the enemy. Uh, and I guess I was letting.
you don't have to like Sovendal. I'm not saying that you have to like him or to infallibly trust him. Uh, I'm just asking that you guys, and I'll speak with him, but if you guys can be a little bit more amicable, at least for his time here. I don't know how long he plans on being here, to be honest. He seems like he will only be here for a time and potentially might move on to other things.
He kind of sucks in a breath. Um, and he looks as if he's gonna say something else, but then he holds himself back, and he's just like, "Yeah, okay, I I
If you
I trust you."
if you want to keep an extra eye out in case you see him doing anything funny, just don't get wrapped up in anything. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
I'm also going to need you to help me build a table.
That was a bit like this is me telling you that was a bit rash.
You weren't listening to me when I was yelling at you, so.
That's fair.
And she kind of like gives like the, the pat on the shoulder, and she's like, "Come on, let's go back."
Yeah. Okay. And you spend the kind of time going back. He kind of calms himself down. He has a drink of water. He's underage. And you make your way back to the House of Stone, and make your way in. And Sovendal doesn't say anything. He's still there, still in the kind of the back of the room, but
Yeah.
he's not. He just stays neutral.
Yeah, okay. And I'm assuming Ricky just kind of maybe looks at him and just
Looks at
kind
him
of
and he kind of looks at him and gives like a bit of a leer, like.
like.
And he's like, and then there's a moment, and then he stops and he just goes, "Look, I don't trust you, but Durabell thinks you'll be good to have around, and that's good enough for me for now. But if you do anything, then you'll have to face up to me." And Sovendal's just like, "I'm terrified. Please don't." And Ricky's just like, "Come on, Slosh, let's go train." And they both leave.
Durabell is going to push the broken table aside for now.
Do you want me to fix that?
It would save me the hassle.
I mean, it was a fairly clean break, so it shouldn't be too difficult.
Yeah. I expected something like that. But...
I told you this would happen.
Yeah.
That boy looks like he's got a lot to prove to himself, not anyone else.
I don't. He's come down from Neverwinter, and he's unfortunately got some apparently big boots to fill. So we're working on it. We're working on the temper.
Well, first thing.
I just hope there's no more of that from him.
Well, you and I both. He's very loud.
He's young, of course he is. At least he isn't part of the guard anymore.
True. So.
Is it unusual for him to be hanging out here during the day?
Sovendal?
Yeah.
No, okay. he's generally here during the day.
Yeah, that's fine.
He disappears off at night.
Yeah.
But yeah, he generally stays in because he's sensitive to sunlight, so he doesn't like going outside in the day anyway, and also he doesn't want to cause any unnecessary hassle, so he just kind of keeps himself to himself. He reads a lot. Like he's been like asking you for books, and kind of trying to learn more about kind of culture on this side of the Underdark, and like outside of the cult. But yeah, generally he just keeps quiet, and that could possibly be why, like over time, Ricky's decided that he doesn't like him because he hasn't made any effort to he doesn't talk to anyone.
Because what is he up to?
Yeah, exactly.
What is he doing?
He doesn't really talk to anyone apart from you, and Quinn every now and again. But he doesn't. Like this guy doesn't suffer fools. So Quinn is like he does any conversation with Quinn. His goal is to end the conversation as quickly as possible.
Yeah, yeah.
But Quinn now thinks that's a fun game. Um,
Well, at least Quinn isn't being like horrible to him. Quinn's just he's just trying to rile him up, I guess.
yeah. Um, so yeah,
So,
what are you going to say to him?
uh, well, I'm gonna ask him if there's any more books he wants before I go outside and go shopping and do some stuff.
Are
Um,
you finally going to venture out into the town? It's been very lively the past couple of days.
well, Quinn's incessant, messaging is anything to go by. I believe so. Yeah, I've just been too busy. I mean, never really pegged myself as a guild leader, so I guess it's been a bit of a thing. How are you finding it, though, being in Leilon?
I hate it.
Do you really?
That's no, and that's not. I don't mean that in any form of disrespect. I appreciate the effort that you've made to make this place comfortable. Um, it's just very different to what I'm used to. Um,
I
and
understand.
as I suspected, I stand out like a sore thumb. And as your young protege uh, proved there, I am quite harshly judged.
Yes, unfortunately. I mean, I spoke with him about the lizard folk, and he seems to have realized that he was being too harsh. Um,
Well, I hope that
and
in time I can prove that my quarrel isn't with any of you, it's with my former allegiance.
I understand that, and it's unfortunate that how much of how much violence is born out of ignorance. I mean, I won't, I am first to admit that I have done things in prejudice that I look back on and I think that I should have handled it better. So I'm trying to do that going forward.
You and I both. That's coincidentally. That's how I ended. Coincidentally, that's how I ended up meeting Farallai and finding myself in the cult of Talos in the first place.
Well, as someone who, by all accounts, hates him, I guess it is good to see someone uh, like you coming out of it and not ending up like the many others I've seen getting into it, such as I can't remember her name, but Durabell would say her name, but I can't remember it.
Yeah, hang on. Goodrill was her name.
Good drill, yeah.
Yeah, he goes, well, Goodrill was a particularly zealous idiot, using her faith as an excuse for violent debauchery than anything else. There are those that belong to Talos who are more reasonable, and as a result, I would say are more dangerous and more powerful. And Farallai is definitely one of them. I would be very careful if you encounter her. After all, she was the one that appointed me second in command to Gudril in the first place to keep her in check.
Yeah.
She's one of the few members of the cult, besides myself, that has a brain and puts the needs of the group before her own needs or the destructive will of their god.
I just wish that perhaps there was more of that in it, and maybe maybe Talos wouldn't be. I understand that Talos exists for a reason. It's just unfortunate that so many of his followers choose such violence to show their reverence.
Well, until recently I was one of them. However, I think of myself too highly to allow myself to just be cast aside, as I was before. So, it's an interesting thought that my paths may cross again with the cult from the opposite side, but I am intrigued to see how that ends up. With that
Hopefully it
being
ends
said,
the better.
what would you have me do? It's been a few weeks. I really feel like I should be making myself useful.
I'm trying to think. Sorry, I'm just trying to think of the best way to word it. Because essentially, she would want him. Because you said that he sort of goes out and gets information.
Well, that's
I
that's
guess.
what he's suggested to you, because
Yeah.
because
What?
because he can
Yeah.
really only go out at night. It makes the most sense to him that his role within your group is to kind of be a covert information gatherer, because he sticks out like a sore thumb. So if he goes anywhere, he's going to be suspicious.
Yeah.
So it's best for him to act unseen.
Yeah, and I think that's something. I think that's sort of what she would say was basically like she would want him to gather information, but like not like just any. She would basically want him to keep his eyes and ears out for the, I guess, the unseen stuff going on,
So just
like
anything.
any sort of rumblings that might be going on that are out of sight that
Okay.
could potentially grow into problems.
So in town.
Yeah, because like especially with places like there being an inn now, and like kind of like wherever there are places that are public and active, especially at night, like if you hear anything like basically go to those, try and go near those places and see if you can rustle up anything that
Okay. That's seems fairly straightforward.
Mhm.
However, I do have a favour to ask of you, and
Sure.
I will be doing the same. But any hints of cult activity, specifically Talos, please tell me. He wouldn't say please. He would say tell me.
All right.
Okay.
Our group is quite small, so I think if there is any activity that comes up, I think I would let the group of you know, but I'll be sure to let you know.
You struck a decisive blow to them when you ended their operations on the Thunder Cliffs, but they're not done.
No.
And as you've proven yourself to be quite a thorn in their side, no doubt your paths will cross again, and I want to be there when it happens.
What's he look like as he's saying this? Like
Oh,
uh
Sovendal.
it, yeah,
Okay.
is it sort of like he's got like the I am out for vengeance sort of thing?
Roll an insight check. Let's see how much information I want to give you.
I guess I'm just trying to see if is it because he wants to get back at them, or is there potentially something else happening? I mean, Durabell isn't shocked ever to be walked into Talos traps because it happens so often, but I mean, she sort of invites the traps to her
Yeah.
so she can deal with it. Insight check, you said.
Yeah.
22.
Ooh, big numbers. So, usually, Sovendal has quite a sullen expression. Like, he
Mm-hmm.
has, like, just kind of no real movements in his mouth. He's kind of always. He always looks like he's about to fall asleep, almost. Like, kind of
Yeah, yeah.
disinterested and. But when you're having this conversation with him, and he's saying like, "I want to be there," there is a conviction in his voice that makes you think like you don't disbelieve him. You don't think that there's anything. It's difficult because
It's is it one of those things where it's like I don't think there's any underlying betrayal towards me. It's just but
yeah,
there's a lot of heat
but
going on there.
you've not dealt with someone like him before in kind of an amiable context. This
Yeah.
guy is he wants vengeance. Like you can clearly see that there is an anger in his eyes that he is very ready to take out on the people that have wronged him.
Okay.
And it's a bit not concerning, but it's just strange because it's not something that you've encountered before on your side of the fence, if that makes
Well,
sense.
especially if he's like usually so quiet and
Yeah.
like aloof, it's a bit like, oh, but she wouldn't be like she'd make a point to not be like, oh God, she would try to like not react, like she wouldn't be like, oh my God, you're being weird. She would just let him do it, and she'd be like, okay.
Yeah. And then he catches himself and then just
Mm-hmm.
kind of goes back to like rubbing his chin and he just says, "Excuse me, I got a bit carried away there."
Happens to all of us.
I will do
If I
what I
hear
can to
anything,
disrupt them from the shadows.
and
Ultimately,
any information I get, I'll let you know.
thank you. Ultimately, any victories that you have against them is furthering my vengeance, and I think I'm comfortable with that.
Okay.
Anyway,
She kind of just like gives like a nod.
mm-hmm. Anyway, I won't keep you any longer.
Uh, since he's basically since they're like living there, she's probably gonna be like, okay, I'm gonna go buy some groceries and stuff.
Okay,
Time to do some shopping.
so
Casual shopping.
I think
She's gonna do like a little trip around.
yeah, well, I think we established that the house is kind of at the like kind of the northwest portion of town. Like one of these houses is kind of in the cluster. I'm pointing to it, but obviously you can't see where it is. But what I guess the point that I'm
by
getting
the
is
by the peculiarities shop.
no. Sorry, northwest, northeast. There we go.
Oh yeah, yeah, yes, yeah,
Kind of like just, funnily enough, just like due north of Torba's Post. So you're
yeah,
actually not that far away from the new general store.
which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I guess I'll go there first since I said I was gonna do some shopping.
Okay. So you arrive there, and it's not a big place. Everything is neatly arranged. There's meats and there's like fruit and vegetables and general kind of adventuring gear. So there's like bedroll. I say adventuring gear. It wouldn't. That's not what it is in context, but it's like bedrolls and like
Travel
firewood,
gear.
traveling gear, kind of all the. You look at it and you go adventuring gear, but a townsperson would look at it and go, firewood,
Provisions.
jerky, and stuff like that. But it's all quite neatly arranged. And there's like barrels of like small barrels of salt and all these kind of things. And towards the far end, there are some shelves that are kind of have all like the different like spices and little things like that in the back. And in front of that is a young-ish looking human gentleman. He's got short blonde hair, kind of like very short blonde hair, wearing a brown waistcoat and like a pair of rain spectacles. And he sees you walk in, and he
Is
just
there other people in here, or is it kind of quiet at the
there's
moment?
there's like one or two, but most
Okay,
the
I just
time
wasn't
of day
sure.
that it is, most people are working right now.
Oh yeah, good point.
So he's kind of you walk in and he's cleaning his glasses, kind of like rubbing them on his shirt, and then he sees you coming in, puts them on, takes a moment. Goes, "Ah, Dawn, is that you?
Who?
Duradon."
No. The other one.
Oh, I do beg your pardon. You must be his twin sister, yes?
Yes.
Durabell, is that right?
Yes. You must be Jack?
Ah, I see my reputation precedes me. Yes, I am Jack Torver of Torver's Post. It's very lovely to finally meet your acquaintance. Where have you been?
I have been at my guild home, been dealing with arrangements and whatnot. I've just been unfortunately too busy to really explore all of the uh, finished constructions and the like.
Well, that's to be expected, I suppose. How are you faring?
I am faring all right. I'm actually here to buy some um, stock for the guild to
Kind
have
of,
on hand.
kind of.
Yeah,
Excellent.
he's ready for it.
What did you have in mind?
Um, I'm gonna do this out of character
Yeah.
just because it'll be easier. But Durabell's gonna basically want to get a good mix of food. Not maybe not. I don't know if the place has a kitchen, but I guess like
There'll be like the kind of fantasy equivalent of a kitchenette, I guess.
yeah. I well just she would get the kind of food that like you don't have to prepare it or prepare a lot to like have a meal. It's sort of like stuff you can put together and eat, I
Yeah.
guess. It's like you've got like your fruits and whatnot, and like maybe there's like you could make like a stew or
Hmm.
like stocks and spices, but like stuff that could keep for a while or um be eaten on the go, I
Yeah.
guess. Sort
So
of thing, like the jerk meat and stuff
yeah,
like that.
he's like I've made a couple of whoopsies like while describing the place because he'd be like if you need fresh, then I would recommend that you go to the town square. And it's been a while since you've been around last, but more and more vendors are making the rounds there
Yeah.
nowadays. People selling their wares, and obviously there's the fishery. If you're looking for any fresh fish, I generally just deal with dried goods and spices and all that kind of thing. But it's like common stuff. Um,
But that's fine because like she would want to get
yeah, so you can like get you
the
together
stuff
with
that
some
can
like
like keep for a while.
yeah
Yeah.
like nuts and he's got some bread and like bits and bobs like that he can throw together for you.
Yeah.
Um, let's find out how much that would cost. Uh, I think as he's
Because I
doing,
imagine
oh, go on.
well, because I was gonna say, because Durabell would probably tell, she probably would have told the others at some point, like, if you guys want fresh stuff, like, you can go get it and bring it, but, because everyone is so in and out, it's not a good idea to keep stuff that, like, has, like, a shelf life, I guess, the
Yeah.
best way you put it.
Um,
So she's basically like, if you want to bring fresh stuff in to cook, that's completely fine. But
but
all
you've
of
got
the
to go
stuff
get it
that's going to
yourself.
be here is going to be, yeah,
Yeah.
all the stuff that's going to be here is going to be like, kind of throw it together
Okay.
here, last
So
for age.
he essentially says that it would work out to be about 3 silver a day for like a day's worth. For
Hmm.
because you mentioned like how many people are going to be there, and you're like okay, well there's 5 of us. So he says
Yeah.
for roughly a day, probably for 5 it'd be a bit more. So maybe be like 5 6 silver for a day's provisions for 5 people. Um, but he says, seeing as this is the first time that we've met, and you've got such a strong reputation, um, as this is your first purchase from me, I'll do you a deal. Um, oh, hang on, I'm gone. I've gone completely wrong. He'll give you a 10 days worth, which is like the Faerun equivalent of a week,
Mhm.
for it would be 20 gold.
Uh, yeah. I'll do that. 20 gold, you said.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'll do
and
that.
that'll keep everyone fed
Yeah.
and quite happy as well, considering you're not paying them. So, but they're
Well, it's. I mean, the way it is at the moment is they're kind of, at least the way I see it at the moment is they're getting paid for what they do at the time.
yeah,
I
they're
guess
like off out doing odd jobs around town and helping out where they
because
can.
we're not quite an established guild yet.
Yeah.
Please bear with me.
But that way, like you've got a week's worth of stuff. It's going to keep them happy for a while, and
And if they've got their own money, then it'll last
yeah.
because they'll be bringing their own stuff in. Yeah.
Um, so, and I think as you're doing this, like he kind of picks up bits and bobs, and he's kind of like filling up a sack for you with all of
Mhm.
this stuff, kind of doing your personal shopping for you, and he basically can't help himself, and you get a little bit of his backstory.
Mhm.
And he essentially says, "Oh well, actually, I'm actually from Waterdeep, um, but I was just I don't know the place is overly complicated in its ways, and it's just the hustle and bustle of city life. I just needed a change of pace."
I've never been. I've only heard some rumors about it. I don't know much
It's
about it. I heard it's a very busy place.
he likens it to it's Manchester. Like it's like our experience with
Oh,
Manchester, where
jeez.
it's great to go. It's like a great place to be, maybe for a long weekend, but you don't want to live
But
there.
yeah, you don't want to be there for more than like a week,
Yeah,
and
because
a
it
week
just
is pushing
there's
it.
just too many people. It's a bit like they have like something's going on every day. It's loud and
Hmm.
he's like, well, I thought I could have gone to any of the other local areas, but I thought with this being an up and coming new town that there'd be some opportunities perhaps, and it's still got a little bit of the hustle and bustle of a busy life, but without the exorbitant taxes. Oh, sorry, guild costs.
Well, I mean, I only have known Leilon from where it was basically razed to the ground, and from what I understand, it was a pretty busy place. But
It's the port.
it
It's the
seems like it's
yeah. It's how close it is to the water. So
yeah.
that was where it's
So I imagine it'll get a little bit more full, but I can't imagine it being like the next big place
no. And I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to something a bit more.
pulled back.
Yeah, down a level, and there's clearly money to be made. Anyway, he finishes up, and let's have a look. Yeah, and then as he kind of like hands you this sack, he just says, "And once again, I'm really sorry for mistaking you for your brother."
I mean, we are identical, so it doesn't surprise me. It happens all the time.
He seems a bit. He comes over every now and again to pick up supplies for his work that he's doing. He seems a little stressed out lately, though.
I was just about to ask if you've seen him recently, if you knew him, because honestly, I feel a little bit like he's avoiding me.
Really? Wonder
Yeah,
why.
I haven't spoke. I don't know. I haven't spoken to him in a while.
I mean,
Um,
he's a slightly awkward chap, which is strange for a dwarf, but he's seems like a fair enough fellow. He doesn't seem the type to avoid his sister.
no, which is why it's a bit weird. I might go look for him when I'm done with my errands.
Very well. Well, I hope you find him, and I hope that I hope nothing's wrong.
Well, if you see him, uh, I mean, I only live just right over there. If you let him know that I'm looking for him.
Yeah, I'll send the word out.
Thank you.
You're very welcome, and hopefully I'll see you again soon.
I mean, I'm sure you will be seeing me every time we run out of supplies.
Of course. And I am, of
Or at least
course,
somebody else from
I
the
am the
guild.
newly appointed member of the town council, so nothing gets past me. If you need to know anything about what's going on in town, I'm your man.
Good. Well, if you hear anything unusual, that you know
Well, everyone needs supplies eventually.
exactly. Thank you, and I'll take my bag of stuff,
Enjoy your day.
and I will leave. And I'm gonna drop that off before I continue with the rest of my errands.
Brill.
I don't really want to carry a week's worth of spices and shit on my back.
You go back to the house, and Quinn's there.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it's like you're on like a conveyor belt. But yeah, you run into Quinn. He's just chilling. He's just got like a flask. He's having a drink. He's like staring at the broken table. And then when you open the door and walk in, he looks at you and just goes, "That wasn't me.
No, that was me.
It was you.
Yes, I broke the table earlier.
Why'd you break the table?"
Because sometimes you just gotta break something to get people to listen to you.
What? And there's like this look on his face like, what? Like, what happened?
Uh, you know how it is sometimes when people just get so angry they don't hear you, so you have to make a really loud noise to break their focus.
Oh, was it the kid again?
Yeah. But he should be alright now. And he should be alright for the time being as well.
Lad's got some anger issues, man.
Well, part of me wonders how much of that comes from his family life.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. I mean, look at you.
Durabell just sort of like looks at him like what the fuck does that mean? But
I'm just saying.
He starts putting the stuff away.
I'm just saying that you didn't have a sparkling example of a family life, and maybe that had a slight effect on how you turned out. Not saying that's a bad thing.
I appreciate it. I see you're keeping yourself lively and busy.
Oh well,
how is the inn treating you?
Oh, it's great. It's absolutely bloody fantastic. The person who runs it, I need their name. Leilon. Is that Leilon? Yeah, Leilon. They're great. Lovely. Make the place feel like home.
Good.
It's quite quiet as well because it's new. There's not many of us there, and if you get in at the right time before the workers go in for a drink, before going back to the camp, it's great. You can basically have the place to yourself.
Sounds like I might have to go have a look.
Well, we can go now if you want.
Well, I've got some other place. I want to do a. I mean, I've been so busy here. I kind of want to do a walk around before I end up going to the pub drinking.
Oh. Well, yeah. All right. Well, I'll tag along with you, and we can circle round.
Sounds good.
All right.
Yes.
So Quinn.
She's kind of whenever Quinn's just like, okay, I'll tag along. Durabell's just like, okay. Yeah. She just accepts that that's gonna happen.
So with Quinn has joined the party. Where do you want to go?
Well, I wanted to go to I mean, the Peculiarity Shop. I've been there before, haven't I?
Yes, that's Aubrey's place.
Aubrey, okay. I guess I want to I'm gonna cut down and like see Timora and Lathander's, like Timora's shrine's at the town square, so I'm gonna kind of go through there.
Okay. So
then maybe
go on.
Yeah.
So you
I was gonna say, and then
the,
make our way to the Umber.
Yeah, so you make your way kind of like down past Torva's Post and around towards the town square, and so you can see now that like local and travelling merchants have set up shop there, and it's a lot livelier than it was several weeks ago, where it was just like the odd people just trading like fresh stuff from farms on the outside and all that, you can see that there's a lady there selling weapons and armor.
Ooh.
Just kind of showing it off, swinging sword around and stuff. And then as you pass through, you do spot the Shrine to Timora, and standing. Well, it's a building, so you'd have to kind of like come up to the doorway. But there is a
Yeah.
gentleman stood outside, who is a very kind of like lithe and thin, tall elf bloke who immediately spots you from like a distance, like from several
Yeah.
yards
Your
away,
elven eyes.
and he zooms in on you and like beckons for you to come over. Like it's like
I mean, we were making our way that way anyway, so
yeah.
I guess I'll go that way.
And as you kind of get within range, he kind of like very quickly makes his way over to you, and he's like, "You are Durabell Boulderbane, aren't you?"
I am.
Huh. It's a pleasure. My name's Puck Caribdas, and I am the resident here at the Shrine of Timora. Welcome!
It is good to meet you, Puck. It's good to see a Shrine of Timora here as well.
Well, I've heard on the grapevine that the good lady's done you a favour in the past, is that right?
I believe she has. I actually wanted to give my thanks to her again for
Oh,
that.
well, far be it from me to stop you. Come in, come in. And he is very like he does not clearly does not understand what personal space is. Like he's like got his arm around. He's like stooped down, got his arm around your shoulder, and he opens the door and is like leading you in. Quinn.
She's a bit like
Yeah, he's like my
okay.
lovely lady, and I wasn't expecting you to be so beautiful. Come on. Um, And then Quinn is like stood outside, like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah.
And you go in. This place is really small. It's just like it's
Yeah.
basically a shed, but made of nice stone, and it's got like the main shrine itself in the middle. But what's
Yeah.
interesting about this place is there's like a small table at the side, and there's like a very, very complicated network of tubes and bottles and like stands, little like brass connections and all this kind of stuff that seems to be like winding its way around the statue that makes up the main shrine, around like the outside, or around like the outside of the ceiling. One goes like up through the window and then back in through the other one. All these kind of like connective tubes and stuff, leading to this like equipment that's sat on like a stone dais almost, that's like near and next to the shrine itself. And there's like liquids and multicolored things like bubbling away in there.
Right.
Yep.
Sure. She's a bit caught up in everything that she's a bit like she sees this and she's a bit like, what is this?
Oh,
Like what's
do excuse me. I she don't and he looks at the like constricted mess that the statue is. And he goes, "Oh, don't worry, she doesn't mind. I have a bit of a hobby. I fancy myself as a bit of an alchemist. I like to brew potions in my spare time. So
right.
I mean, if you find yourself wanting to make a prayer to Timora, I'd be more than happy to for a donation. Maybe I'll give you something.
I mean, I was planning on giving a donation. I suppose I could that doesn't divide evenly. Hold on a second. Basically, I was looking at my inventory while you were describing, and I was seeing if there was an item I could leave.
Oh
And the
right.
only item, and the only item I can think to leave is one of the three decorative daggers, but I'd have to divide the value of like I'd have to take that third out of the price, but it doesn't divide evenly in three.
I'd probably just like, how much is that worth?
I mean, it's three decorative daggers worth 500 gold pieces.
Okay.
I didn't write down if it was each or just all
No, I think
together.
all three of
So
them. I think it's a set, so you'd have to do
yeah,
all of them as a set.
right, right, okay. Um, oh, I've got an extra 300 gold in my inventory as well. Uh, she will leave. Where's my money? She doesn't really want to leave money because, I mean, I guess with the way Moradin is her sort of idea of leaving offerings is more like it's not monetary value. It's
Well, that's
like the
more
actual,
Moradin values stuff that you've made.
yeah.
Um, whereas you're not really sure with Timora, but
No, because I've usually just sort of made little offerings, maybe left a little bit of money, stuff, things like that.
Puck is
Offered.
very quick to tell you that money is fine. You can leave some money. I know it's a bit awkward, but money is absolutely fine, and that would really help out with this place, and then I can further my research, and we can we can make more potions to help you out, because like being lucky is one thing, but being able to tip the scales in your favor with a cheeky potion, oh, that's that's good.
Right. Okay.
And I'm not
Uh,
I'm not gonna I'm not gonna lie to you, darling. Like, these aren't cheap. I've got your basics, and there's like, you can see that there's like herbs and like stuff kind of like stuffed under the table.
I mean,
Um,
I already know what she's gonna leave, but
so I've got your standard potion of healing. Your standard fare. It's kind of weak, but these are fairly easy to make on my spare time. I've got four of those. I can turn them around fairly quickly. But then I've got like a variety of other stuff. Like, this one makes you, any kind of gestures to one, because this one makes you better at climbing. I've got one that makes you bigger. Um, Although, looking at your muscles, you won't need that, will you? Um, I've got one that lets you breathe underwater. And then
then that water breathing one would have been good for last game.
he gets like visibly very excited, and he goes, "I've got a very special one." And he kind of like lifts up. I've got to remind myself what this one actually looks like.
I also randomly have a potion of vitality. I don't know what that does.
Potion of Vitality. Um,
Yeah.
I think it gets rid of poisons. Um, he presents you with it's a very small vial, but it contains a bubbling blue liquid.
Mm-hmm.
He goes, "This is, well, I can't even begin to explain to you what this is. It's like, you're people consider you a hero, right? Like, I know I've heard that you're a bit modest and maybe don't like that term being used, but this right here is basically if I took you and made you into a potion. It's a little bottle of what makes you special."
A potion of heroism.
That's it. You got it. You're so clever.
I see. Um, well, it is good to know that um, Lady Luck also has a worshipper who can supply me with potions on the ready if need be. I was struggling with for those before.
Yeah. I mean, like I say, they take a while to brew, but come back every 10 day or so. Maybe I'll have some new supplies for you. This one in particular, it's very hard to make. I've only got one. I'll probably only have one for a while, and it would have to be a significant donation to the shrine for me to give this away to you.
I understand.
But the
I'm
others,
going to.
the potions of healing, I can give them to you at market value. So if you donate 50 gold, I can give you a potion of healing.
Well, that's what she was gonna do. She's gonna donate 50 gold.
Yeah, okay. So you do that, and he gives you a potion of healing. Because consider like these one, he like gestures to the climbing. I can give you the climbing potion for the sake. You can have a potion of climbing, or you can have a potion of healing. Which one would you prefer
I will
for a
take
50
the
gold donation?
potion of healing.
Okay, so he hands you one of them, the standard like red viscous liquid.
But I might
He
be
goes,
back for that potion of climbing.
"Oh, excellent! Yeah, I look forward to it. The growth and the water breathing, they're a bit harder. So they'd be about 150 gold, maybe. These prices have been recorded by the Lady of Luck herself.
Just out of
It's
curiosity,
all sanctioned. Like it's not.
is is he actually a worshipper of Timora,
I
or
mean,
is
he's
that a
wearing the
bit of a
robes.
front?
He's wearing
Well,
like all the holy vestments and stuff. He's got like a holy symbol around his neck, which has got like her symbol on it.
he just makes his own luck by alchemy.
Yeah, like that's
Ah, okay.
his thoughts on it are luck is very important, but if you can tilt the scales in your favor, then
Makes sense. Durabell will offer 50 gold. She'll take the potion of healing. She'll do like a. I imagine he would understand if she wants to do like a moment of silence. You know, kind of at the shrine. I guess would be the best way to put it. Just like offer a small prayer.
you you do that. So I can imagine like Durabell kneels down and like takes her own holy symbol and kind of gives a prayer to Timora.
Mm-hmm.
You can feel that while you're doing that, Puck is like shifting around you, like it's a small space, but you can kind of just like feel his presence like shifting around you.
Yeah.
Like he's not making contact or anything, but you can just feel him there.
Yeah. I mean, Durabell she's gonna thank Tamora for whatever aid she has offered, like with the back at the woodland manse and stuff, and she's gonna thank. Uh, she's just gonna thank her for helping be in support with her endeavors to help Mord in this quest to defeat, or at least cull out the crazy side of Tamas's cult and
Mhm.
whatever. Yeah, and
Okay.
then it'll be maybe it won't be as long as she had hoped because there's someone hovering, but
Well, when you open your eyes, like you get the impression that he's just been like looking you over,
yeah.
um, but like nothing untoward or anything like that.
I imagine it's just, oh, the hero has come. I want to get a good look while she's still here before she disappears to who knows where.
Roll an
Or
insight
is it?
check
Oh
with
dear.
disadvantage.
Okay. Oh wow, it's definitely disadvantage. Insight check
Mm-hmm.
is an 8.
8.
I rolled
You're,
a 16 on the die on the other one, but it's 8 total.
you're yeah, you're not quite sure. Like yeah, you're the new hero in town. He's probably just whatever. You don't
Yeah.
get it.
And I give Puck my thanks. I'll tell him that we'll probably be back to buy more potions. Especially for like trying to
It's not
as soon as,
you're not technically it, just as a point of order. You're not buying a potion technically. You're making a donation, and you're just getting the potion as like an incentive sort of thing. It's not really an exchange as such.
I understand.
All right, thank you, darling.
As the guild grows, I'm sure we will be offering more donations.
Oh well, I look forward to it.
And then I will nod my head and promptly leave, unless he tries to stop me.
No, he's just like, may the lady watch over you. And
And you. And then I leave.
yeah.
And it's a bit like, I bet she meets up with Quinn outside and she's like, I have no idea what the fuck just happened.
What just happened?
I don't know, he brought me in.
You were here, he was here, I was here, you were both gone.
Yeah, we kind of just went in, and then I offered my prayers at the shrine, and I got a potion of healing out of it.
I mean, all right, no complaints then.
Yeah. Odd fellow, but seems nice enough.
Fair dues. Right, where to now?
We're gonna make our way. Not that we're gonna go in, but I kind of want to, from the outside, look at the Lathander Shrine, and then make the way to the Umberhulk Shell Inn.
Okay, so you pass by the Lathander Shrine, and you do spot Marigold, kind of just doing his thing, pottering around. The Lathander Shrine is noticeably bigger than the Timora one, but that's just because it's been here since the start.
Well, yeah, I mean, at least in Durabell's experience, Timora's shrines have always been small.
Yeah, they're kind of small.
The
they're
two
kind
that
of
she's
quaint.
experienced, yeah.
Yeah. Whereas Lathander is kind of more, they tend to be like more grandstandy.
What kind of deity is he again?
Lathander, he's the Morning Lord, so he's basically the sun god.
He's like Pelor.
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I think they're from different. Universes. I can't.
Different pantheon universes. Yeah.
Let's find out. Let's take a look at some Paylor.
Some deities.
Where are we? Sword Coast Adventurer's Guide. Gods of Faerun. Yeah, Lathander is the Morning Lord, and he's the god of spring, birth, renewal. He's a deity of conception, vitality, youth, renewal, and self-perfection. Oh, yeah, he's not a god of the sun, but of the dawn, specifically.
Okay.
Which represents the start of the new day filled with potential. So he's all
Which is why it's like birth and like, yeah. I can see it.
So maybe Paylor does also exist within this pantheon. I'm not sure.
Either way,
he's not on this list as far as I can see. But anyway, yeah. So you pass by. It's kind of the afternoon at this point. All of the stuff, all of like the worshipping around the Morning Lord happens in the morning. So he just generally seems to be like clearing up and doing his bits and bobs. Nothing's too crazy. Just like side shaved head, little halfling wearing these like fancy robes that are like white and red, with like golden trim and stuff. And he spots you and gives you a wave.
Yeah, we're back. I'll be a bit polite and
Is there anything that you want to do here, or are you just passing by?
I was just passing through. I figured that if Durabell was going to visit the shrine, she would visit in the morning.
Yeah. So you kind of have to go. The quickest way to the inn now would be to go past the fishery, kind of go
That's
down
fine.
onto the barge dock, into the barge yard, and past into there. So you pass by there, and as I was saying earlier, it's loud at the fishery. You've got all the what's the, not local, but all the kind of original settlers of Leilon trying to sell their fish, and all of the lizard folk trying to sell their fish as well. You've got like you walk past Valdi, the sea elf that's kind of got the blue tipped elf ears and the shark fangs.
Shark teeth.
And she's like she's loving it. Like she's got a massive smile on her face, but she's like trying to moderate, being like, no, you can't call them that. You can't say that. Because you've got no evidence to prove that they do that to their fish, and all this stuff kind of like going back and forth.
Like,
And
I don't even know what it means that you just said, but I
yeah,
know that it's a bad thing.
exactly, stuff like that. And then you've got like one guy being like, "Oh, those lizard folk, they give you 3 fish for 5 silver. I'll give you 4 fish for 5 silver, and they'll be much better." Um, and all that kind of stuff going back and forth. Like you'll know this. Do you remember when we went to Berry Market?
Yes.
Um, and they
And you
they
had
do
the
that.
butchers like bantering at
Yeah,
each
they
other.
just shout across the room at each other and
Yeah.
talk rubbish, to try and get you to buy their stuff over them because they're all like independent traders, but they all share the space. It's a sight to behold. It's absolute chaos. But you walk past it. A couple of them cry out to you, kind of
Be like, oh, I've got the best fish for the
yeah,
hero.
kind of like hoping for an endorsement from the Durabell Boulderbane sort of thing. But you walk past. Quinn's just like, she's not hungry. We're going to the pub. Paul just said in chat, 1 goldfish.
Come on, ladies, 1 pound fish.
But
Hell yeah.
you make your way to the Umber Hulk Shell Inn, which is like a quaint looking 2-story building, and it looks brand new. Like it's because it
new
is.
wood,
Like
new.
it's all very fresh, very clean. Probably won't stay that way for long.
No, it's a pub.
But it's like an interesting sight to behold. Like wow, like
Yeah.
a pub that's only existed for a few weeks compared to
Yeah.
places like the Wayside and the Stonehill Inn, like all these other places
Yeah.
that you visited in the past that clearly have like an age and stories behind them. This is a brand new place.
I mean, yeah, I imagine places like the Wayside and whatever. It's like it's one of those things where it's like the characters seeped into the wood of the building, whereas this is like fresh for destruction.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what Quinn loves it for that very reason. But yeah, so you're free to enter. It's actually kind of surprisingly, it's kind of busy today.
Ooh.
Like even Quinn is just like, oh, what's
all this then?
I guess more people have heard about it now.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then kind of over at the bar, there's this kind of non-binary looking human that's just sort of manning the bar, and they kind of look to you with a warm smile, but are kind of serving other people and doing their thing. What's your passive perception?
My passive perception is 15.
Okay. You walk in, and you see, you see the proprietor, and they smile at you, and you respond, I assume.
Yeah.
But then you spot out of the corner of your eye, a figure at one of the tables, kind of awkwardly shuffling, kind of like stooping down almost, kind of trying to move their mug in front of their face, kind of like awkwardly shifting, and you notice that it's Duradon.
Ah. Well, what kind of sibling would I be if I didn't just go straight up to him? And I'm just like, and I'll even make a point of it. I'll be like, Duradon, I haven't seen you in a while. And I'll walk right up to his table.
Quinn, before you, as you see that and start to walk off, Quinn is just like, what? I'll get the drinks in then.
Yeah. Sorry, Quinn. Yeah, do that.
And you go over and like Duradon kind of like tries to pretend like he didn't see you. Just kind of like looks up from his thing and goes like, oh, yeah, Durabell. It's been a while. It's good to see you.
It has been
Please
a while. If I
please
didn't know any better, I think you were avoiding me.
me. No, no, don't be sick. Don't be
Yeah,
daft.
see, that's what I thought as well. I just thought, feels like he's avoiding me, but I was like, oh no, he's probably just been
I've just
busy.
well, yeah, I've just been busy. I've just been
We've been,
busy.
been busy. What have you been up to?
I've just been working. Like honestly, I've had a lot of work in the past couple of weeks, and it's just been a bit of a mess, and I've not really had chance to like come and see you and let you know. You will notice as well. He looks exhausted. Like he's got like massive black rings under his eyes. Um,
Yeah.
and you can kind of like see at his side this like large kind of like leather strapped kind of pack that's kind of haphazardly tucked under the table. It's massive. Um,
Is it sort of massive in the look of somebody who's trying to leave?
um, no, it's difficult to tell, but you don't get that impression. It kind of
Okay.
you could even do something like you accidentally kick it, because it's under the table. It's not that hard to do that. It feels like it's kind of got a combination of wood and metal in there. It kind of jangles
Mm-hmm.
as if there's something metal in there. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, you've got like an eye and an ear for infrastructure, so you imagine like it sounds like maybe there's a chain in there. Um, but yeah, but beyond all that, Duradon just looks like completely wiped out, basically.
You must have been busy. You look a bit like shit, to be honest.
Uh, um,
Have you been
yeah, just
sleeping?
long nights, lot of work. Uh, this employer that I've got, yeah, they're demanding, but they're it's worth it.
What kind of work are you doing?
Oh,
Like
just
building?
just some repairs, like repairs, construction, like just some equipment that they've been asking for, bits and bobs, like nothing too complicated. It's just hard work. And Quinn arrives with three drinks.
Yeah.
Kind of like passes them around, sits down and goes, "Don, you look like shit." And Duraton's just like, "Yeah, I know."
Well, is it if he's working you so hard, are you getting paid well? Are you being compensated?
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Um, they they said that well, no, he wouldn't say that. I'm slipping up now. Um,
Sorry, go on.
I'm gonna make this delivery tonight, and they're gonna pay me, and it's gonna be a pretty good payout. I was thinking of maybe buying you a present, or
Oh,
maybe looking at putting a down payment on one of the places that they're building now. Yeah, it's gonna be great. Maybe setting up some kind of something that I can do more permanently, because I'm working out of the camp at the moment, and it's a bit uncomfortable.
yeah.
Maybe get my own space, like a little studio or something.
Yeah. I know what we offered the one of the rooms at the guild house, and it's still there if you want it in the interim. Uh,
I don't want to I don't want to impose Bell. He wouldn't call you
I
Bell. He'd
mean,
call you Durabell. He'd call you by your name. Um,
no, he'd probably call her Belle.
okay.
Because she probably calls him Don or
Yeah,
Donnie.
that's fair.
Well, I
If
imagine it's one of those things where they only use that nickname when it's serious.
Yeah, if it isn't obvious by now, he is lying through his teeth. Like I'm not even gonna make you roll for it.
No, that's fine
Yeah.
because I was just gonna be like, well, I, I'm I'm assuming since you're here drinking, you've got time before you go out on this delivery.
Yeah, I finished everything, and I'm just waiting for the time to drop it off. They're they're passing through town, so I've yeah.
Well, we'll keep you company until then. How about that?
I mean, you don't have to. It's it like I appreciate the gesture, but you've probably got things that you need to be doing. Like did you see, there's a general store in town now.
I've been. I've done some shopping already. Um,
Oh great! Have you met
yeah,
Jack?
I did. Yes,
Um, yeah, we get on really well. Um, okay. There's that. I mean, obviously. Uh,
Donnie.
yeah.
You know, if there is actually something wrong, you can talk to me.
Um, you know, when we did those jobs when we worked together for a little while.
Yeah, the building jobs.
While we were doing those jobs, you probably don't remember, but we did we did some repairs for a man named Sigurd. I don't know if you remember him. Um, and you vaguely recall um, a like a large bloke, and he struck you at the time as a bit like okay, but you didn't think anything of it because he's a traveler, like he was just passing through. But he's just like
Yeah,
huge dude, with like his left eye was like completely scarred over,
yeah,
um, and that was like the strike. Like you remember that, um,
yeah.
and you know we were just doing some repairs for him. Like he had a cart that just needed some stuff doing to it. I don't know if you remember that.
I do. I do remember. Yeah, big
Well,
fellow.
yeah. Well, since then, he came back and he was asking for other stuff. He specifically came and found me, um, and he's over the past few weeks he's been asking for more and more stuff, and um, he paid the first time. Like you were there, he paid the first time, but as as I did more and more stuff for him, he started withholding payment, and he started saying, "Oh, you know, we've got some stuff on the way. Like, oh, do me a favor." Um, and then when I started to lose patience, um, he threatened me, and he said, "Look, if you don't do what I tell you to do," um, he was gonna. Well, you can probably understand or guess some of the things that he said that he was gonna do to me if I didn't do as he asked. Um,
Right.
I have to make this delivery tonight, and I didn't.
You have to make it alone.
I mean, he didn't specify, but I would assume so. I'm I'm sorry. I know I should have told you, but I just didn't. You've been dealing with so much stuff, and I just didn't want to be a burden, you know.
Yeah, but Duradon, you're my brother.
But this is. I should have just said no. Like I should have realized that he was dodgy and just said no, or told one of the guards, or got did something. You know, this is. I've gotten myself into this mess, and I don't think it's fair to fall back on you. You know.
I understand.
You know, you saved me from the mine. You came all this way when I asked you to deal with the Talos thing when they were when they'd invaded the town. I don't know. It just felt so small in comparison.
I, you know, they're all sorts of people, and you never know when somebody's going to turn out to be like that. I am I am a little upset that you didn't tell me, but I'm not so. I'm glad that you told me now, I guess, when I asked instead of trying to lie about it.
Oh, I'm glad that you found me.
If you've got this one last deal, then see it through, but if you will permit me, I would like Quinn and I to at least maybe quietly keep an eye on things.
I think Quinn pitches in at this point, like he leans forward with his mug in his hand, and he says, "Don, this isn't the last deal. They're not going to pay you, and they're going to keep asking for more. The more that you give them, the more that they're going to take. If this is the kind of person that you're dealing with, this never ends well for you."
Well, we're going to make sure it ends tonight.
And Duradon kind of like nods his head. He's like, "Yeah, all right, thank you."
You
Um,
know, I know we both grew up in a household where, you know, favors are paid back, but, you know, we're the only family we've got each other out here, so I guess just making sure that you're okay is more than enough for me.
you're right. Um, I've got a few hours yet before I need to do this. I was a bit early just because I was anxious. Um, we can wait here for a while.
Yeah. Um uh Durabell would have the one drink, but I think if there's time before he's got to make the delivery, she or she'd get no, she'd probably do it because of the way Quinn is. But Durabell would make a point to go find uh Sylvan Ball and be like, because she knows that they're not the most stealthy. So she is going to find him and be like, look, this is like, she's be like, I just found out that this is happening tonight, and it sounds like it can get messy. Uh, if I'll pay you to basically be in the shadows to help keep an eye on things.
No need to pay me. I mean, he's in the house. Like it's easy enough to find him. So you stay with
Yeah,
so Quinn stays with Don, and then you
yeah,
go
I'll
and
tell
find
Quinn to stay with
Sovendal.
him. Yeah,
And yeah,
yeah.
Sovendal just says that no need to pay me. We have a deal. And I'm very intent on keeping to our deal. Um, ultimately, all things aside, you saved my life, and that's before we even worry about anything else. That's a debt that I need to repay. And I haven't
All
even
right.
started doing that yet. So, um, that's fine. If it's on, yeah, I'll stick to the shadows and keep an eye on things. I won't.
Yeah, because I imagine Durabell would have asked Duradon like roughly what time or maybe where it was supposed to happen, so she could
Yeah,
relay this information.
um, yeah. And he says I won't. I'll only act on your signal. Okay. Um,
Okay.
so that exchange happens. You go back to the Umber Hulk shell,
Mm-hmm.
and you sit down, and Quinn is like, "Oh, Bell, Bell, Bell! While I've been here, I've been hearing people talking. I've been having a bit of a chat with the owner, and I've heard things. Do you remember that? Do you remember
All
that
right.
tower that we went to? The lighthouse.
Yeah.
People have been saying that out there near that they've seen like something massive in the water.
Oh, jeez.
It,
Like
like yeah,
out in
some
the
some
ocean.
some people were saying it was a boat. Some people were saying it was a massive whale. Everyone said that it stank. But yeah, apparently there's something out there.
Maybe it might be worth going out to the lighthouse and seeing if we can spot it at
That'd be cool.
some point. Yeah. I'm sure Lily would like to get out and stretch her legs a bit more on the road.
Oh yeah. Has Lily got a little stable
She
in
would
your
have a little
house?
stable.
Hell
But
yeah.
it would be sort of a stable that's like nicely kept, but it's probably covered because,
Yeah.
but I'm sure a lot of people, it's probably one of those things where the people who are more startled are the people who are passing through than the people who live there.
You know what? Because it's covered, I think Sovendal would spend a lot of time in the stable.
Do you think do you think the first time he went in there, he just saw a skeleton horse and was just like, what the fuck?
It's like, this is interesting. I
Like,
think
oh
he'd
yeah,
be
that's
less
Lily.
bothered than other people. He'd be like startled, but he'd be like, okay, you have a skeleton horse. This is interesting. Um,
Yeah, and be like, this is Lily. This is my horse. She's very nice.
but I think just by the very nature of the fact that it's shaded in there, and there's like no windows, um, or the windows are very small,
Yeah,
for the same reasons that it's more for Lily's benefit, so that people don't give her hassle.
yeah.
But for the same reasons, Sovendal likes to stay there. Um,
And it probably just smells like hay and wood
yeah,
because it's
and
not
he's
like Lily's gonna make a mess.
no, so he's perfectly fine with that. And I think as a result, Lily's kind of fond of him.
Yeah.
Like she knows him. He's a friend. Like
Yeah.
yeah, so
Cute.
yeah. So that would be when you had that conversation. That would have been where you found him.
Hmm.
Anyway, so we'll you've got that little rumor. So we'll scrub forward to the evening, and like what are you gonna do? So Duradon has to make his way out of town, basically up past the way you originally arrived from, way back when. So kind of down in the southeastern corner.
Yeah.
He's kind of got to head out a little ways out there, and they're gonna meet him. Sigurd's gonna meet him.
I'm assuming it's one of those things where he goes there and then they're gonna come up to meet him.
Yeah.
Um, is there any place near the road that Durabell, Quinn, and Sylvan can deal with? I'm
He's
sure
not. He's
he can
not there.
find a.
He's not.
Okay.
He's making a point to like not join you.
No, no,
He
no, that's fine. Like, I was just gonna say, is there any place near the where Durdon's gonna be that we could duck
So
behind?
you see where this little house is, kind of on the
Yeah,
like one single house on its own.
yeah,
So the meeting is going to happen kind of like on that road that's going off the eastern side.
yeah.
So there's the house itself that's abandoned and empty, and then there is also the kind of wood line on the opposite side as well.
Um, I don't know if she'd be inside the house. She'd want to be in such a position that if she needed to step out quickly, that she could.
Okay.
So maybe behind like maybe behind the trees.
I see, yeah, behind the trees, kind of like between in front of the palisade, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. So you and Quinn stick there. Let's
Hmm.
go ahead and have stealth checks from the pair of you.
Oh dear. Here we go. Uh. Oh yeah, I've got advantage on my stealth check.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah.
You've got advantage, and Quinn can reroll ones.
I didn't do very well. I got an 11.
Okay.
Quinn got what is stealth again? This dexterity. He got an 8. So we're not doing too great. I was
Okay,
hoping that
you're not
the
making
fact that
much
we
of an
were there
effort.
early would make. I was
Yeah.
hoping that the time that we got there early would make it easier, but
Let's have a look. Okay. So right. So it's kind of late evening, getting towards nighttime. Duradon is kind of like moving this large pack of stuff over that sort of scrapes, and you hear the chains moving within it, and it's kind of closed up with this thick leather strap. Um, did you ever ask him what was in it?
mm, she probably would have asked him
So he
before
he doesn't
meeting.
really he doesn't really get it, but it's like locks, chains, kind of reinforcements, for like wooden reinforcements for doors and stuff, hammers, nails, um, and he just like, to hazard a guess, it seems like they're trying to strengthen something. Um, yeah, it's
Right.
really odd. Um, yeah, it's a lot of reinforcement stuff. Um, anyway, he gets to like the delivery point, and sure enough, this cart appears, like horse-drawn cart appears, and this gentleman that you recognise, Sigurd, gets off. He's like wearing studded leather armor. He's got like curly brown hair that sort of tumbles just past his shoulders. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and then yeah, he's got like an eye missing, and two other brutish types get off, kind of the hired muscle almost, kind of wearing similar clothing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they seem to have kind of like a colourful symbol on them. Um, it's kind of like, you can't really make out the details from here, but they've got some brightly coloured garb on for just general rough and tumble bastards.
Right.
Um, but they get off, and Sigurd just says like, "Ah, Duradon, I'm glad that you made it." And Duradon just kind of like throws the pack onto the cart, um, and he's just like, "Right, that's it. Are you gonna pay me or what?" And Sigurd just kind of like tuts and shakes his head, kind of like glancing at the other two like thugs beside him, who kind of like smirk in his direction. And they go, and he goes, "Ah, yeah, payment. You see, the thing is, we're still waiting for some supplies to come from further down. Um, our boss hasn't quite been able to release the funds yet for me to make good on our promise. I'm really sorry about that, mate." And Duradon's like, "Well, what am I supposed to do? I've been working for you for weeks, getting all this stuff together. I can't eat." And Sigurd kind of narrows his eyes and is just like, "What are you going to do about it?" And Duradon's like, "Well, you've you've passed through this town several times. I'll tell the council. I'll tell the guard what you've been doing. You've been extorting me." Um, and Sigurd just kind of puts a hand on his shoulder and just shakes his head and goes, "No, you won't." And then in that moment, he glances over and he spots Quinn. Like, you're fine. Like, wherever you are, he hasn't noticed you, but for some
Yeah.
reason he notices Quinn. So what is it that gives Quinn away?
Quinn's probably leaning too far out to say.
Maybe yeah, he's like hearing all this stuff and he's like, I'm gonna kill him.
He's
You hear
he's like
you hear what he's saying to Don?
yeah.
I'm gonna fucking kill
He's
him.
being
And
a bit too loud.
he's like leaning out. Yeah, and Sigurd just like, oh, I see how it is. And grabs him.
Oh shit. Okay.
Whoever you are,
Durabell.
whoever you are, I would leave if I was you. If you care about this man.
Durabell will step out with her axe. Well, yeah, she'd step out with her axe in hand, and she would just be like, "Nah, man, you let my brother go."
Oh yeah, who are you then?
He says, looking at a double.
Yeah, because you've got. Oh
I.
wait, no, sorry, no, I'm being dumb. He's seen you before.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, you're like, I should have known that you'd get your family involved. Dwarves. What are you gonna do?
Well, seeing as you've brought your backup, what's not to say? What's wrong with him bringing his own backup? If you don't want to pay him, that's fine at this point. But you're not allowed to make any more demands of anybody here.
On whose authority?
Me.
Who's me? Last I knew, you were just doing some carpentry work.
I Durabell does not like doing this, but she's going to step a bit closer and she's gonna be like, "I'm Durabell Boulderbane. I am the Dragon Slayer of the North. I saved Fandolin and I've saved Leilon. What have you done besides bully people for money?"
Make an intimidation check with
These
advantage.
go so badly for me.
With advantage, though.
Oh, okay. Ooh. Oh my god, a 19 and an 18 on the die. 23.
23. He rolled. I was gonna do like an insight check. He got a 20. So you beat him. Like even though he got a 20, you beat him.
Hey.
So he kind of the other two.
But Durabell isn't. Yeah, yeah.
The other two kind of like look around a bit. One of them's like, I've heard of her. And the other one's like, yeah, Sigurd, and Sigurd's just like, take the stuff. And they start like getting packed up to go away. He kind of lets go of Duradon, but like shoves his face into the dirt, like trips him over, throws him to the floor.
Says, at that, Durabell would have taken a really aggressive step forward.
He's just like, he steps back and he's just like, you listen to me. I am Sigurd of the Chimera crew, and you've just messed with us. You will not hear the end of this. Durabell, Boulderbane, or whatever your name is. I don't care who you are. I don't care what you've done. But you've insulted me, and you've insulted my crew. My boss will hear about this.
Yeah, he will, because I'll be sure to get my brother's what you owe my brother from him when I see him. Be sure to bring coin when you come back.
Yeah, he'll need it for your funeral. And then with that, they kind of hurriedly go off to leave after that very intense moment.
And Durabell will run over and help her brother up.
Quinn, you go over to help your brother up, and Quinn like goes to run past the pair of you.
Yeah, I imagine Quinn like runs past, but because they're on carriage, and he's like, "Yeah, you better fucking run."
That's basically what he's like, and like I mean, Quinn's fit, so he chases them like a good way, but then eventually you just hear this kind of like, "Yeah, fuck you, you mess with my friends, dicks." And then he eventually comes back.
When I double.
And then he kind of comes back huffing and puffing as you're kind of like tending to Duradon. And he's just like, well, I was worried that was going to turn into a fight.
Yeah, well, part of me almost wish it did so I could have kicked the snot out of him, but I'm glad that you're okay.
Me too. Thank you.
How much do they owe you?
I'll have to double check.
We'll get it back. If we're gonna see them again, I'll make sure they get it.
Yeah. Thanks.
Of course.
Okay. He's like, I'm gonna go back to the camp.
Okay. But if you feel unsafe, you know where to find the house.
Yeah. All right. And he kind of trudges
Yeah.
back off towards the camp. You and Quinn collect yourselves, go home, and
Well, I'm gonna kind of when we get back, because Sylvan Ball would have been out somewhere
Dahl.
with us. Sylvan Doll, sorry.
No, he zipped
so I
off.
would have.
So when you left, he zipped off on his own,
Okay.
like pretty much straight away, because he was like,
Okay. So
he was gonna go around and
yeah.
through the tree line. So
Yeah.
basically, you left the house and he was gone.
Okay. Yeah. So when we get back to the house, I'm gonna be waiting for him to come back because I imagine he will.
Okay. More time passes than you would expect. And you think it's a bit odd that you didn't see him. Like, I mean, obviously he's a stealthy boy, like he's good at that, but you got no sense that he was anywhere
There.
during that.
Yeah.
Time passes, and it gets to about like way past your bedtime. Let's just say that, and he's still not there, and the slightest like hint of what is he doing creeps in, and then you hear a knock at the door.
Okay. I will
It's like
open
a very
it.
gentle like dush dush dush.
I'll open it.
You open the door. And
I'm still battle ready, but yeah.
Yeah, you open the door and Sovendal has to stop himself from falling onto you.
Oh jeez.
He's a mess. Like he's covered in like cuts, like bite marks, like scratching wounds and stuff. It looks like his vitality has been drained away from him.
Oh shit.
And he's just
I'm
like,
gonna get to fucking healing him.
he's just like don't. It's fine. Save your strength. And
what the hell happened?
He shoves his way in, and when you ask that, he goes, "Ask this one." And you see he drags in and throws into the center of the room another body, unconscious. He kind of like throws them over onto their back, sprawled out. A figure with matted black hair and like pale skin with sunken features and fangs. It's Argus Skeel, the vampire spawn that you encountered in Phandalin.
Was that the guy I chased away?
Yeah, it was the guy that you
Oh my
scared off.
god! Oh my god!
And Sovendal kind of like shuts the door and leans back against it. He's like, he was watching your exchange. I thought it'd be interesting to speak to him.
Yeah, it's really interesting since I chased him away from Phandalin. It'd be like 2 months ago now, something like that.
I think with that bombshell, that's where we'll leave the session for tonight.
Oh my god, it's getting heated up in here.
That was fun.
It was a lot of fun.
I had a good time. That
Me
was
too.
really, really good. Yeah, awesome. Right.
Yeah.
Well, I hope you all enjoyed it as well. It was a nice. This was kind of a I say a non-session, but this was something that I sort of threw together as like an introductory thing before we get into the main action of this
Before we get into the
adventure.
dice rolling
Kind of
action.
reintroduce us to everything that was going on, like introduce some new NPCs, get some character development going on, because I feel like some of that was missed from the last campaign. So yeah, I really hope that you enjoyed it. You know, thank you for following us on Twitch, for subscribing on YouTube, doing all the things. Yeah, and just for all of your support going forward. I hope that you will continue to do so as we go through this next stage of the adventure. All right, and
Sorry, I was just rustling my dice bag.
thanks, shout outs to Papa Paul for the gifted sub during the stream, and
Hey,
thanks again. And yeah,
thanks for hanging out.
we will see you next week. And if you're interested, I'm going to be streaming again on Thursday for just like a general chill out and chatty chat stream. But yeah, all right, take care, everybody, and see you later.
Bye bye.